Hey, I'm Jesse Martin, and I'm going to show you how to lube and oil up a bait casting reel. So here I have the Abu Garcia Aura reel. Typical bait casting reel. You can see it's a low profile variety. So the first thing you're going to want to do with a reel like this is get the side plate off. So for this particular model, you loosen the screw on the top. I'm just going to angle the camera down so you can see it a bit better. So you're going to want to loosen this screw here. I've already loosened it a little bit to make my life a little easier here. And then that pops the side plate loose. And then you take the spool out. So now you're going to want to use your oil. So what you want to do here is oil up this pivot on your spool. This part moves a lot. You want to make sure it's well lubricated. After you've done that, take the reel body again, and if you'll look in here, you'll see there's a hole. You also want to oil up that hole. That pivot goes into that hole, and you also want to make sure the hole is well lubricated too. After you've done that, you can feel free to grease up the insides of here, but that's not really a necessary thing to do. There is some friction in there that grease might help. Take it easy, but usually I just use grease for my gears. So take the pivot, slide it back in, and now you can push the spool back into your reel. We're done with that. It's a little easier to do this when there's no line on the spool, otherwise your line doesn't get caught in the side like mine just did. If you find that it's not pushing in all the way, you'll want to loosen off your spool tension knob here. That will allow this to slide in a little further, and it'll make it easier for you to get the side plating back on. But before you do that, take your oil again and oil up the inside of the brakes here. There's a lot of friction in there. You want to make sure it's well lubricated. Then you can put your side plate back on. You can figure out how. There we go. Now onto the gears and the greasing. So with a lot of reels, you'll have to take off this side plate to get to the gears. But with some, like the Aura, you can actually just access them through this compartment here. So if you'll look right in here, there's a little screw with a little lid right there. So if you loosen off that screw, you can actually open that lid. When you open up that lid and look inside there, you can see that the gears are right there. So the handle gear is there. You want to put a little dab of grease in there, give it a spin, maybe give it another little dab of grease, and then spin it again. After that, close the compartment. There's one more step I like to do, and that's the worm gear. So if you look down below here, this is actually hard to get to on this reel because of the faceplate. But you can just reach through there, right below your line guide. Down in the bottom you'll see a worm gear that crisscrosses back and forth. Just put a little dab on that gear. You don't want to use grease on this gear. If you put grease on the gear here, it's going to gum it up and it's going to slow down your reel. Use oil and it'll speed it up. After that, you're done. You're ready to fish.